Can you tell me the difference between this and this?
You're losing it, kid.
And for those spiders who make it through.
There's a big problem with one of these trailers. And without telling you much more, I know that you can feel the difference between them, and they are perfect to help us distinguish greatness from average. A trailer doesn't just present interesting and promising glimpses of an upcoming film. As the most powerful marketing tool, it does much more. It introduces tone, it communicates context, subtext, and above all, it shapes the personality of a film.
Can you find the wolves in this picture?
The choices a trailer makes, music, cadence, rhythm, and footage, define that personality. Here, the technical choices in the Dune Part 3 trailer do much more than present promotional images and plot context, telling a story through semiotics and sound. To better understand the foundation this trailer builds upon, let's recall where the story left off. Dune Part 2 ends as a tragedy. Paul Atreides is forced to embrace the future he desperately wanted to escape. His visions prove inescapable. The final 3 minutes of the movie reframe the supposed virtue of a messianic leader and the liberation of a people oppressed by tyrants. What seemed like a heroic pursuit of collective freedom transforms into a violent, self-preservating tyranny.
Lead them to paradise.
Spreading melancholically across an entire galaxy. And it marks the separation between the two central characters, Chani and Paul, two fundamentally different visions of freedom. With that in mind, if we divide this trailer into 3 acts, the first act focuses on revisiting that ending in a nostalgic, ironic, and contrasting way, the dreams that will never be. Meanwhile, parallel symbolic editing shows us a present-day Paul, corrupted, melancholic, facing whatever he must become as emperor. From this point on, the music already carries narrative weight, a chant more specifically. While the first act is accompanied by a solemn, almost lullaby-like melody sung by Paul, the transition into the second act shifts the tone, aligning with the violence and religious justification of his rule. Now the chant becomes a ritual, reinforced by his followers. This second chant dictates the cadence and rhythm of the cuts, exposing the violent expansion of his empire while simultaneously presenting the political context of the third installment, once again through editing. Through moments like this Match God, we can infer that Irulan and this Harkonnen character represent an alliance, and therefore a more complex opposition. They are not villains per se, not like the Harkonnens or the Emperor in the first 2 films, because Paul himself, following his tragic arc, no longer represents the classic hero or savior. Instead, he becomes a subversion, a complex anti-hero, or even, at its most extreme, a villain. The moral landscape of this third film is far more ambiguous, if not inverted, and this reveals an important contrast. In the first films, House Harkonnen embodied violence through their own rituals. But in this new order, it is House Atreides and its followers that perform the violent, fanatical chant of expansion, a chant that also echoes the dark speech Paul delivered in the second film, already foreshadowing his arc as a violent leader. Even the aesthetics of the houses seemed inverted in some ways. So the third act of the trailer represents the ultimate sensory explosion, a culmination of its motives. It begins right after this tragic defining dialogue that draws the line between Paul and Leto.
How did Father do it?
Your father never started a war.
The chant crescendos, now joined by an orchestra that reminds us and promises us that this is still a space epic, a story of scale and grandeur. As flashy as it is dramatic, this third act focuses on exactly that: drama, conflicting wills colliding, overpowering each other violently. This trailer respects the continuity of its second part. Through its sound design and editing, it establishes its themes, defines its tone through form, and stimulates us and satisfies us through a complete standalone piece. Because that is the power of a great trailer. It sticks with you like a tattoo. And I don't think there is a better way to make someone crave for something than that concept. The problem with a trailer like the Spider-Man one, which represents the vast majority of film trailers, is that in its extreme conventionality, it falls into formula. It becomes purely expository. It gets people interested in the plot concept, but it doesn't create any deeper connection or expectation, stimulus or emotion. And it surely doesn't build a personality for the film. Even though this movie has been marketed as a return to basics, to realism, to a more grounded Spider-Man, this trailer undermines that entire pre-release campaign. It doesn't show anything grounded, it doesn't sell or embrace the street-level Spider-Man rebranding people expected. It's just another trailer. Let's remember how the first Superman trailer, an extraordinary one, does achieve a tonal rebranding for the character. It relies on the whistle and cry for help motives. It centers on a theme, hope. It sells its concept, it sells vulnerability and sensitivity. Exactly what we expected from a James Gunn film. It builds a personality. Meanwhile, a trailer like this, no matter how much we like Spider-Man, represents nothing more than the announcement of a new movie.
Go home!
And compared with trailers with full concepts like this, it will be the kind that it is easily forgotten. And that's the feeling that sticks with you, even as you're seated, finally watching the film.